Well, hello again. A little more on this project. I'm going to try a new camera setup here. I'll work this out. Alright. So far, all I've done is put a Hobby Wing speed controller in, radio link receiver to work with my radio, and got a better battery for it. And I still think the speed controller is the biggest thing on these cheap cars. I think that's what's holding these all back. Because I set the settings to fit the motor. And this thing is a wild child now. I haven't speed tested it, but just in some quick playing around with it, it's a totally different monster. It's got at least twice the power. I mean, it will try to wheelie in reverse now. This is how crazy this is now. It was already I'd say a fun car. Now it's crazy. I mean, it's in the power range that it was advertised in a little more. Just by changing really this one part and putting a good battery in it. So we're talking taking this $100 car and putting a $25 speed controller and a $15 battery into it. You double the amount of power easily. So the torque range is off the wall. This is getting into some of the better Traxxas and Armor range of power. And I've not touched the motor. I've not touched the gearing. It's all about the speed controller. Those all-in-one speed controllers, those cheap ones that have no adjustability, is where the problem is. It's all right here. Okay, here's the other major thing. They'll advertise shocks. Well, it's time to learn a little bit about shocks. Ignore the diameter. The big thing is the length for the car. So when it mounts this point to this point, that's the measurement you need. But it needs to be level when you measure it. So the best thing to do is to take off the same measurement lengthwise as the old one. Now, this one's slightly shorter, but it's hard to tell on camera. I mean, it's so little of a difference. It don't matter. It pulls the front end down a little bit, but that'll help for stability. Here's where the biggest thing is. These cars like this will come with friction dampeners. What's called a friction dampener. Looks like a shock, don't it? Kind of feels like a shock. But when you actually know what you're feeling, see how that slow rebound compared to just crap. Well, the big difference is you'll open these up and they'll try to fool you on some of them. So they'll say, oh, oil filled. If you look down in there, see, it's just a Phillips head screw. This is empty. Whoop. Sorry about that. See how it's empty? And you'll notice there's no type of seal here. It's just a piece of plastic. That's it. You try to put oil in this, it's just going to pour out everywhere. Whereas, I kept one of these out and redone the rear because of this. Actual shocks. Okay, unscrew. Just the same. I gotta watch what I'm doing here. Oh. You'll see a bladder in. And actual oil. See? I mean, that looks the same. But if you'll notice, there's no bladder on the other one. If I emptied this, it would not have a Phillips screw in the bottom. It would actually have, at the bottom of the rod, there's going to be a disc. And in that disc, there's going to be little holes. And actually, by changing that little disc in there, you can change how this rebounds. And this will actually have an oil seal at the bottom. You You can actually kind of see it a little bit in there. Little black oil seal. Whereas this, it's just a plain old rod coming through there. You put oil in this, it just pours right out of the bottom. I mean, and here's a big difference. In the front, I've got oil-filled shocks. In the rear, I still have the standard friction dampeners. So, you'll notice something real quick. See how it's kind of holding me and rebounding it. There's this end. So what's going to happen is you're going down the driveway or across the gravel and across the dirt. This rear end is going to bounce like crazy. Which, this comes with all 4 of these like this stock. Whereas the front end, it's just going to plant. So, I've got some slow motion video to show you the difference. So, right now, I'm going to show you this car the way it is. So, when you see it bounce, it's going to be like this in the video. Where this is the friction dampeners in the back. This is the shocks. And you'll notice when it hits that the front end is just going to hit and plant. Whereas the back end is going to hit and bounce all over the place. So that's what it's going to do when you hit bumps. This thing's going to bounce all over the place and you're going to lose control. And imagine that on all 4 tires doing that. So that thing's just going to be doing this and you're going to lose control. Wonder why you ain't got no stability. And again, this is a $14 part for these to put it on all 4. They could have done this from the factory. But that's a simple change. I mean, all I had to do, because these being thicker in diameter, all I did right here is put a M3 nut between the mount and it to spread it out enough where it's not touching the A-arm. That's it. Simple change. All right. So here's the slow motion of this, the way it's sitting right now, with the shocks in the front and the friction dampeners in the rear. Alright. Now you see how that bounced like crazy. Now imagine you're not going to get no stability out of that. Alright. Now, I'm going to show you a few different other videos. First off is going to be this car with just the friction dampeners in it on all 4 wheels. And you'll notice when it hits, it literally hits and it rebounds way up in the sky and comes right back down. Okay. Now, second video I'm going to show you now that car has the exact same shocks as what I'm holding right here. But these things don't come from the factory filled. They'll either be like half full, or they've leaked out a little bit because they didn't seal this up right, or they didn't get the air out of it. It's your responsibility to fill these properly. So I'm showing you one that all I did was just bolt them on there. I didn't adjust any of the weight of the oil. I didn't adjust, and you'll notice they got some air in them. So it's going to hit a little more solid than the one with friction dampeners, but there's still going to be like a little bounce to it, and before it settles. And then the next car I'm going to show you, the little green granite. Now that's one with properly filled and bled oil-filled shocks. And you'll notice when it hits, it just barely even bounces. It hits and it just sticks to the ground. And that's what you're wanting, that when it goes over a bump, it doesn't just sit there and vibrate like crazy. It goes over a bump, rebounds a little bit, and slaps right back down to the road. That way your tires are on the ground and they're gripping. It's the exact same theory of driving a real car. You don't want that tire just doing like this or you'll lose grip. You want it to rebound a little bit and then stick right back down. That way you maintain your patch of your tire and it grips. So, see you in a minute. So, as you can tell, you can see the difference between a junky little friction dampener and a set of $14 shocks that are filled, just stuck on there make a difference. Filling it properly makes an even bigger difference. So, now I'm going to take a break and finish redoing the rear on this, and hopefully when the weather gives me a little bit of time, I'm going to speed test it and see how it runs on video. I'm trying something a little different on video in it, so I'm going to hook the camera up to here so I don't have to worry about somebody being way off in the distance. I'm trying a little better on the video work. So, hope this helps somebody. You learned a little bit. See y'all soon.